There are thousands of train stations across America. Some are busy, some are forgotten. But there is one station, somewhere in the Midwest, where a train stops every night at 2:17 a.m. The strange thing is, it only ever stops for one passenger. And if you ever see that train, you should never get on. Ethan Cole had just started working the night shift at Ridgewood Station, a small train stop surrounded by endless woods. The station barely had passengers anymore. Only a few freight trains passed during the night. But Ethan liked the job. Quiet, peaceful, until his third night, 2:10 a.m. Nothing again. He sipped stale coffee and stared at the fog outside. Then suddenly, a distant train horn echoed through the forest. Ethan frowned. According to the schedule, no trains were supposed to come tonight. The ground began to vibrate. Headlights appeared in the fog. A massive black train slowly rolled into the station. But something was wrong. The windows were dark. No conductor, no lights inside. The metal looked old, rusted, almost burned. Ethan checked the schedule again. Nothing. Must be a freight reroute? The train screeched to a halt. And then something even stranger happened. Only one door opened. Ethan stepped outside onto the platform. Cold air wrapped around him like ice. He walked toward the train. Inside the open door stood an old man wearing a long coat. His face looked pale, terrified. "You shouldn't be here. Sir, this train isn't scheduled. Where are you headed?" The old man stared at him like Ethan had just said something horrifying. "It only stops for one passenger." "Yeah, okay." But the old man didn't laugh. Instead, he pointed down the platform, slowly. "It's waiting for him." At the far end of the station, a figure walked out of the fog, a tall man in a dark suit. His footsteps echoed unnaturally loud. Step, step. The air grew colder with every step he took. "Who is that?" The old man's voice shook. "I don't know. Nobody ever does. But every night, he takes one person." The man in the suit reached the platform lights. Ethan finally saw his face, and his stomach dropped, because the man's face was completely blank. No eyes, no mouth, just smooth, pale skin. The creature stopped in front of the train door. The old man trembled. "Don't let it see you." Ethan slowly stepped backward, but the creature turned its head directly toward him. The creature lifted its arm and pointed. At Ethan, the old man gasped. "No, no, it chose you." Ethan's heart pounded. "What happens if I don't go?" The old man's eyes filled with dread. "Then it takes someone else." Suddenly, Ethan remembered something. Earlier that evening, a young woman had been waiting for a train. She was still inside the station lobby. Ethan looked at the creature again, still pointing, waiting. Ethan slowly walked toward the train. The creature stepped aside. The door creaked open wider. Inside the train, rows and rows of empty seats, except for one thing. Every seat had a name carved into the metal. Thousands of them. Names scratched deep, old, new, some barely readable. The old man whispered from the doorway. "They're the passengers. Everyone who ever boarded." Ethan searched the seats. Then his blood froze, because on the seat in front of him, his name was already carved. Ethan C.O. Lethan stepped back. "This isn't real." The old man shook his head. "I said the same thing 30 years ago. You rode this train?" The old man nodded slowly. "But I jumped off." Ethan stared in disbelief. "And ever since, I've been waiting for it to come back." The creature suddenly moved, fast, faster than anything human. It grabbed Ethan's shoulder. Cold like ice, the old man screamed, "Run!" Ethan twisted free and sprinted across the platform. The creature glided after him, silent, unstoppable. Ethan burst into the station lobby. The young woman looked up. "Is something wrong?" Behind Ethan, A creature appeared in the doorway, still pointing. Ethan realized something. It wasn't chasing him. It was waiting. Waiting for him to choose. Him or someone else. The woman stood confused. What's happening? Ethan looked at her, then at the creature, then at the train outside. He swallowed and walked back to the platform. The creature stepped aside again. The train door opened. Ethan turned once more toward the old man. Does anyone ever come back? The old man whispered. No. Ethan stepped inside. The door slammed shut. The train whistle screamed. And slowly, the train disappeared into the fog. The old man sat alone on the platform. The clock ticked. 2:16 a.m. The ground began to shake again. The train returned. The door opened. And this time, Ethan stepped out. But something was different. His face was gone, smooth, blank, and he raised his arm, pointing toward the station, waiting for the next passenger. If you ever find yourself alone at a train station late at night, and a train arrives that isn't on the schedule, remember this: it only stops for one passenger. Subscribe for more.